Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Sammy and I make mommy, lifestyle, and Leo content. And I apologize for the craziness of my videos lately. If you follow me on Instagram, you know that I was sick last week and had a horrible cold that I couldn't seem to get rid of. And being sick as a mom is hard. And then yesterday, my video that was supposed to go up Monday, it processed for like 24 hours and would not upload. So it went up Tuesday instead of Monday, so it's been crazy. So if you want to keep up to date with what's going on my channel, definitely follow me over on Instagram at Kisses and Kevlar. I post updates there when things are a little wonky or a little crazy. Yeah, then you won't have to wonder where I am. Today I am here to talk to you a little bit about fear. And as a Leo, fear is something that is a part of our daily lives, but we don't really allow it to be. So last week, as you know, was my first National Police Week, and that's only because last year we were out of town, and before that I never even knew about National Police Week because my husband was not an officer. And there's been a lot of things I've come to know about since becoming the wife of a police officer. But I will say that it was really hard for me, and it prompted me to talk about this. The service was really, as you know, Russell presented in the service last week, honoring 2 of his fellow troopers that were killed here, as well as a 3rd officer from the community. And he did a phenomenal job, and I was so proud of him. And the service, I did okay with the service until they played a song and the words of one of the officer's daughters was played, and oh my gosh, that killed me. And she was just talking about the things that she missed about her dad and telling him where she was in her life now that he'd been gone a few years, and it was all I could do to keep from sobbing. And I was like, don't be that person. Don't be that person that didn't even know these people and you're going to sit here and make it about you. So I held back the tears, you know, and then we had a luncheon afterwards provided by one of our community outreach groups. And so I got to talk with several of the officers and, you know, enjoy lunch with my husband and Oliver. And then after the service, we took some stuff to the post for the officers, the fellow officers of the troopers that had passed, because when you lose an officer, the family isn't the only ones affected. You also have their fellow officers that worked very closely with them. They worked long hours. They rely on each other for safety, for basic human rights. And so we wanted them to know that we were thinking of them, and we took flowers to the memorial of the troopers. And then I came home. This whole time I was busy enough that I really didn't have to think about it, and I was, you know, just concentrating on talking to people, keeping Oliver calm, doing all of those things. And so when we got home, Oliver was real cranky, he was really tired, and so I sat in the rocking chair and I rocked him to sleep, and it hit me. I mean, it just hit me like a ton of bricks. And I just sat in my chair and I just cried and cried, and I couldn't seem to stop crying. And I just kept thinking, I have a little boy, I have a son, and whose father goes to work every day with the potential risk of losing his life. And it's something that up to this point that we don't live our lives like that. We don't live our lives in fear. We really just practice, you know, taking advantage of all of the time that we have together and all of the little moments every day, and we make, you know, we make room to meet up during his long shifts or take him dinner while he's finishing up cases or whatever it may be. And we live our lives and appreciate the moments that we have, but we don't live in fear. And it just hit me so hard, and I was so afraid. I was like, what if, what if, what if? And so I want to talk about breaking that cycle. And it's hard. Sometimes you feel really afraid, especially if there's been an officer shooting recently, or an officer accident, or something that involves an officer, maybe not your officer or your department, but in the country. And that's something amazing about the Blue family, is that because we're all a part of the Leo family, it links us and bonds us in this really unique way. And so even if we don't know the officer personally, or we don't know the department or whatever, because of the nature of their jobs, we automatically feel it. And so I called my sister and I was like, hey, are you busy? Would you mind if I brought Oliver over for a little bit? I just need like an hour. I just need an hour to clear my head and calm down. And so she graciously agreed, and she took Oliver for about an hour, and I came back home and I took a shower, I journaled, and just had some quiet time to really just decompress, because Russell was getting off early and I did not want him to come home to the basket case that I was. And at the end of that hour, I felt a lot better. I still was emotional, but I was not in the place that I had been before. And sometimes reality just hits you, and you realize that this is the nature of your spouse or partner's job, and that this is something that they face every single day. And we pray and hope and believe that it will never be us, but the reality is that it could be someday. And so that fear just really took over me on that day. And taking that little bit of time just to focus and to try and dissuade all of those fears really made a big difference. So I encourage you, if you are feeling really afraid or anxious about your partner or spouse's job, that you plug into some good resources, you find some encouragement somewhere to help you kind of get rid of those feelings. And not that we should ever take for granted our partner and the role that they play in our lives, because heaven forbid something ever happened to them, we need to treasure every moment. But we don't want to live in that state of mind of fear, because it's not going to help anybody. It's only going to make things more stressful. It's only going to make your partner more stressed and more anxious as they walk out the door. And so it's important to find strength in ourselves and to plug into good resources. So talk to a fellow Leo, read anything involving Leos. I know there's Cuffs and Coffee, there's The Peacemaker's Wife, which is a journal for police wives. Plug into those sources, talk to someone, take a few minutes, journal, take a walk, break that cycle of thought. And it's really important for me to find a way to deal with it now, because I have Oliver, and hopefully we will have more children in the future, and I want to know how to properly handle these situations when they are feeling fear, and not allow my emotions to just run the show. And it's easy to allow that to happen sometimes, especially when it comes to fear and when we're nervous or afraid for our partner. But especially for our kids, it's important that we find an outlet and find a proper way to express those emotions, so that we don't lead them into more fear or cause them to feel anxious every time Daddy walks out the door. So I would love to hear how you deal with the fear issue in your Leo family. Definitely comment below. Let me know what are your favorite things to do to kind of shut your mind off, break that cycle of thoughts, and let me know all your tips and tricks. I would love to hear them. And if you like this kind of content, definitely click the subscribe button. It's completely free. It just notifies you when I upload a new video. And I would love to see you around in the next one. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.